WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
Is now awarded.
Live in the studio.
It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
All set? Let's go.
The Zone.
Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Steve Robertson joins us here in just a minute on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line, genespage.com. 247 Sports. Ole Miss Insider Michael Katz at 8:30 and Tom Luganbill with ESPN's college football team at 9:30. Everybody joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. The show is brought to you by the Amazing Steaks and award-winning Elijah Craig Bourbon at Kessler Prime in the Renaissance. KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. And Steve Robertson joins us. Steve, not sure that you could really take anything away from the game Saturday, but I think the fans enjoyed seeing Camario Taylor throw his touchdown pass and also rip off a 19-yard run.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of games like that, right? I mean, and Levy said it best, I thought, in postgame. Rather than just bring them in, let them hand it off, you get a chance to see them really play and put some things on film, and then you've got some coachable moments. But, yeah, I mean, it's been a while since State's been able to kind of stretch their legs like that. And you know, State did what an SEC team should do against an opponent of that quality. And all due respect to Alcorn State, but this is a chance for State to kind of get right and, you know, get a happy locker room, and now you're 3-0, you know, for the first time since 2017, and you got a really good chance to be 4-0 after this weekend.
Are you ready to say that Fluff is now the number one running back over Johnny Daniels?
Well,
I'm sorry, under
exactly.
Booth. I'm sorry, over Booth.
Yeah. I think Fluff is probably the most complete of the backs, and but I think you're going to need both of those guys. You know, I mean, you really need the full expanse of that depth chart. But, yeah, I think you go to Fluff when if the game is on the line and it's 4th and goal from the 1, that's who I'm bringing in. But, yeah, I mean, you're going to need both of those guys. And it was so good to see guys, you know, like Xavier Gayton and Seth Davis get out there and run a little bit. Colin Wilson got a little play too. And so the running back room is, in many respects is probably as deep as Mississippi State's ever had. And I kind of go back to think a little bit about DeCenso and Dante Walker in some respects, that they haven't accomplished that yet.
No.
But to have a tandem of that kind of talent, I think, is very important for State.
How do you feel about the offensive line 3 games in?
Well, I'd feel a whole lot better if they'd have some continuity. I mean, it's been 3 different fronts all 3 games, you know, because you've had some guys a little bit banged up. I mean, you thought you had it figured out, and then Blake Steen gets hurt. Then the next week, Timothy Lewis misses the game. This week, Albert Reese misses the game. So it's been, you hadn't had the final 5 the whole way through. But I think things will settle a little bit this week. Albert Reese is expected to be back. He was just kind of a precaution type thing, and that's the benefit of playing, you know, in Alcorn State. You know, when you've got some bumps and bruises, you can get some guys right. And so I think the offensive line's done some good things, but they don't really have the cohesion yet. And I think part of that's because you hadn't been able to play with a consistent group.
Northern Illinois coming in on Saturday.
Yeah, they scored 3 touchdowns this year. And one of those came on a kickoff return in the 4th quarter against Holy Cross when they were down 10-6. I mean, this is a team that's really struggled offensively, and they, I think they replaced in 18 starters from last year. And Coach Hammock said in a press conference earlier this year that they lost the most production of anybody in the FBS. And so, you know, we'll see how things go. They're going to be well coached. I don't know if they've got talent to compete with State. And, you know, that Maryland game, I went back. We watched both games yesterday, but the Maryland game, Maryland wins 20-9. But they had a drop touchdown pass in the end zone on the 4th down play. They had a kind of a self-induced fumble inside the red zone. Maryland should have won that game considerably, but they kind of shot themselves in the foot. It really wasn't anything Northern Illinois did. But to give the Huskies some credit, I mean, it's granted it's 2 games, a small sample size, but they've been really good in rush defense, so giving up about 75 yards a game on the ground. So that'll be interesting to see, how State can kind of attack them.
All right, so 4-0 out of the gate. We talked about that this summer, that the schedule lined up for them to be 4-0, and you and I hit that numerous times. Levy and the staff are doing what they need to do. Anything jumping out on you on defense? I mean, they lose Whitson, which people believe, along with Isaac Smith, best player on the D. I don't know if it's a next man up because I'm not convinced they have that much depth, and I don't know if you could see anything from playing Alcorn. So where are you with that? Just kind of saying.
Yeah, what I worry about without Woodson is the pass rush, right? I mean, yeah, you've got some guys that are comparable of some guys you've had in the past. But, Woodson was clearly kind of emerging as the bell cow on that defensive front. So, yeah, how they handle that will probably define the season. But back to your comment about being 4-0, I mean, I don't think it's just, being 3-0 with the prospects of going 4-0. I think State, outside of maybe that second quarter against Southern Miss, has looked pretty good. And that's really what you wanted to see, is some progress and kind of ignite this fan base. And you begin to think about what the ticket demand is going to be in 2 weeks. State wins this ball game, Tennessee should certainly win theirs. And to bring a quality team like Tennessee in a Davis Wade Stadium in week 4 for an SEC opener, that we'll find out today, hopefully will be a night game. If you want tickets, you need to go ahead and get them now, because if you're going to wait till next week, you're probably going to pay more than you should.
Ooh. Yeah, and Tennessee's got a squad, man. I know there's plenty of time to talk about that, but that was a hell of a game. Georgia and Tennessee. How about Brian Kelly losing his mind? They just won the game. He gets the first question about running the ball and offense, and he loses his mind. Did you see that, Steve?
I did. The first thing I want to say, Michael Cobble has been down there forever. Michael is a good dude. Michael's also an LSU guy, right? And as all those LSU media tend to be. But the reality of it is, it's probably not the best first question, but I thought Kelly was a little bit over the top there. I think he was just kind of waiting for an opportunity to ignite. And the truth of the matter is, they have not run the football exceptionally well. And, they had 5 picks in that ball game against Florida and then kind of eke out a win. I think LSU fans are right to be a little bit concerned. I mean, you expect to be better offensively than you have been when you got Nussmeier back. I know he got banged up a little bit in camp, but, you probably don't ask that question first, but you got to get to it at some point, and as a coach, you don't get to pick and choose when the questions are asked. So.
I don't think they're that good. And I say that knowing that they beat Clemson in Florida. I'll tell you this, Steve. No one in the league jumps off the screen. They don't.
Oh, I agree with that. I really do. We wondered kind of going into the year who was going to be the best team. And a lot of people thought Texas or Georgia. And kind of what you've seen is Arch is trying to kind of grow up a little bit. Having them preseason number 1 was probably, in hindsight, the wrong decision, because he is a first-time starter. I don't care what his name is, and I don't care what his pedigree is. That's a tremendous amount of pressure for a first-time starter. But I don't know if we have a national championship team at this point. Some people have to kind of develop. That LSU secondary is elite, though. I mean, those guys really run the football. So you got to think they'll get the offense kind of figured out at LSU. But I don't know who's great in this league. I think there are a lot of good teams, but I don't know if there are very many great teams.
Okay, fair enough. Steve Robertson, genespage.com, the Boneyard Podcast, 247 Sports. He joined us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Steve, we'll do it again later in the week. Thanks.
See ya.
All right, genespage.com, 247 Sports. And we're live in the Bank Plus studio. The show is brought to you by Kessler Prime and the Renaissance Ribeyes, Fillets, Porterhouses. Rare, medium. Bacon wrapped shrimp, scallops, I don't know, side of crab meat. Pair it with an Elijah Craig Manhattan. KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. Michael Katz, Ole Miss Insider at 8:30. Trinidad Chambliss out of Ferris State University goes for 412 yards against the Arkansas Razorbacks on Saturday night. Ole Miss wins 41-35. Back in a second.